Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays suing the Trump administration over more mass firings at the Department of Education.
12 News journalist William Pitts explains what's at stake in this latest lawsuit.
Not just an administrative shakeup. This is part of a deliberate effort to dismantle public education in this country.
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays filing yet another lawsuit against the Trump administration. This one, number 7, to stop mass firings at the U.S. Department of Education. She says 1,300 employees.
There is absolutely no way that the Department of Education can perform its legal obligations with half the workforce.
Mays and 19 other states are suing over those cuts, saying it effectively destroys the Department of Education's ability to do its federally mandated job. The department distributes federal funding to schools, $2.8 billion to Arizona schools. It also oversees a civil rights office, keeps data on school performance, gives funding for disability education and teacher training.
You cannot fire half of the people responsible for these programs and pretend that nothing will change.
It's a responsibility that State Superintendent Tom Horn says he can do himself without federal oversight.
Well, I'm hoping rather than the governor, it'll go to the state superintendent of schools. And one thing I can promise, I can do a much better job than the Federal Department of Education.
The Arizona Department of Education is already massively underfunded. It is already incapable of even competently administering the voucher program.
Supporters of eliminating the Department of Education say the department is too big for what students get.
Essentially, you have this behemoth, this apparatus of jobs and programs that now take all this paperwork and compliance and all these pieces that aren't actually improving the education of kids.
The Goldwater Institute wants to return education decisions to local control, meaning how money gets spent and on what is decided by the states.
America did not have a federal Department of Education for most of its history, and since that department was created, we have not seen improvements in our student outcomes. So it's very hard to argue that the Department of Education has made students' educational outcomes actually better.
Mays says Arizona gets more federal school funding than 43 other states, and she wants that money to keep coming. William Pitts, 12 News.